Hey, what's happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This segment's going to be an interview with Phillipe Nover. He's a UFC and Bellator vet, also a finalist on Tough, Team Nogueira versus Team Mahir, Ring of Combat lightweight champ, just an awesome guy, vet of the sport. Truly enjoyed speaking to him, and I hope you guys enjoy the interview.
This is Dave.
Hey, Phillipe, how's it going? Yes, it is.
Good.
I really appreciate the time. So, Phillipe, here's the generic question. You probably heard this a bunch of times, and I'm sorry if you have, but what was your first experience with martial arts in general?
Oh, wow. This is going back since I was a kid. So martial arts, my first ever experience, my parents enrolled me in a Goju Ryu school, karate school, when I was about 4 to 6 years old. And I pretty much, I don't remember too much of it. But my parents always wanted me to learn how to defend myself. They found martial arts as a means of discipline and community. And then I got a little more serious though with it when I started at the age of about 12. I started training at a school called Universal Defense System with Ralph Mitchell. And that's where I really started getting more competitive and getting into different aspects of martial arts. And the school pretty much covered a lot of different ranges. So it was Ralph Mitchell was a black belt in judo. He also was a master at kung fu and had a lot of backgrounds in kickboxing. He was a professional kickboxer. So
that's
pretty much
awesome.
it had everything. And that's when I really started enjoying it more and learning about everything, from ground fighting even to throws to striking, everything. And then my start in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was probably around age 16 to 18. I would briefly get some information from some training partners who would go out to Long Island and train with Matt Zara and Rodrigo Gracie.
That's awesome.
And then I started, this is way back.
I love Matt.
Go and seek out. Oh, Matt is the man. Matt is the man. So, and then I occasionally went to Manhattan to go to Henzo's also sometimes. So
another awesome guy.
It was just surrounding yourself and seeking these amazing people who appreciated the martial arts and just taught so well and just pretty much I always had good experiences in my career as I would say even in my beginning parts of my career. It shaped my life with building relationships with people and just shaped my life entirely. So and surrounded me with good people. So that's where it came from.
Yeah, to touch on a little bit what you were talking about, how important it is for kids and stuff, martial arts. I always promote that for kids because you said it teaches discipline, boosts your self-esteem. You walk around with confidence because you feel like you can handle yourself,
Absolutely.
But so your parents, they're martial artists as well?
No, actually my parents are not martial artists. My dad is definitely not a martial artist. My mom is more along the lines of martial artists because her father, my grandfather on my mom's side, actually was very much involved in, and may he rest in peace, but he was involved in Filipino arnis, and he used to actually, from the rumors that I heard, is when there was an occupation of the Philippines many years during World War II, he actually trained in martial arts and actually did some stick fighting.
Wow.
And would even have a sort of underground stick fighting competition where it was no armor, no gear, and just sticks. And they would
Holy crap.
So
that's insane.
He's pretty old school. unfortunately, he passed away. I never was able to meet him, but I definitely find like this huge, like, just like an amazing story because he grew up in the Philippines and went through some hard times. Obviously, the Philippines has been like, historically, he lived through all these things, and he actually was part of like a guerrillas type warfare during this is the rumors that I hear from all my relatives when I go back there.
Yeah.
So they kind of say they all say like my aunts and uncles and they all say, oh, you're just like Tatang, which means like the great grandfather of the family, because he had actually 7 children. Some already passed away.
Wow.
So he's like really bring it back, and he used to fight. So
it's in your blood,
like, and it was actually like it's in my blood. Yeah, he used to fight in like these underground, almost like and there was
Kumari type thing.
And and there was betting, and that's how he made some money on the side.
Wow.
Supporting his family, fighting with sticks. I mean, you could really hurt yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So, yeah,
that's
Tatam
wild.
Kadring, that's
wow.
That's Grandpa. He knows. He knows. Maybe it is in my blood. So
yeah, I think so. Rest in peace. That's amazing.
Absolutely.
So Phillipe, when did you realize, as far as MMA, that like you could make something happen in the sport? Was there like any kind of defining moment where you said to yourself, like, I can do this, like, make some big moves in a sport?
I was always intrigued with it. When I first learned about MMA and the UFC, I remember watching it as a kid, and at first I was completely I was like, whoa, I would never do something like that.
Yeah.
I remember watching like Hoist, like I was appreciative of it, but I did not think of myself getting involved in it. And then after like doing some jiu-jitsu matches and kickboxing and pretty much trying every martial art possible competitively, I saw that MMA was something that I might do well at. And I had some training partners, Nardu Debra, who started fighting, and he actually had like his first few pro fights, and he was doing well. And I said, hey, let's train together. Let's do this. This is like really way back in the day.
Yeah.
And I think I had my first pro fight in 2003.
Wow.
And that was pro, and there was no amateur at the time. It was just, hey,
you just hop in.
Let's just hop in. And, if there's a weigh-in or not, who knows? So
that's wild. That's like
way back.
That's like Pride era days, Pancrase and all that. That's awesome.
Oh man, yeah. I remember watching all the Pride stuff, and
absolutely. And I was more of a Pride guy than UFC, but I love them both.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. Pride was I would watch a lot more Pride even back in the day than the UFC. They just had a bit more characters and just having the international portion of it, being in Japan, and and I definitely appreciated it when it was up there. I remember staying up with my friends and just ordering it on the pay-per-views and everything. And I was like,
absolutely.
This is amazing.
Yep. I remember the old school golden era, like crazy matches like Fedor and Crow Cop, Vanderlei and Rampage. I mean, same, man. I used to stay up and like, wow. I'm glad that I was like old enough to really appreciate and enjoy, that moment in mixed martial arts, back in the day. But
absolutely.
So Phillipe, so your toughest match or the toughest guy you've competed against, like in your opinion, if you could recall that?
The toughest. Oh man, I fought so many tough dudes.
Well, you just said to yourself, damn it.
I could tell you the scariest guy who I fought.
Okay.
Who I definitely had like the most, like I was definitely anxious the week of the fight, and just do or die type of situation. There were 2 guys.
Okay.
I could tell you there was one guy I beat. It was Daryl Horker.
Okay.
I fought him in Bellator. Building up to the fight, this is I think it was like 2013 or 14. Building up to the fight, I remember he beat he's won a knockout spree. He was a southpaw, and he just had this crazy left, and he knocked out a few of my training partners, and then Bellator pretty much was like, hey, we want you to fight this guy, and I was like, I watched the tape. He didn't have like the biggest name at all, and he probably, I thought they were trying to pretty much use my chin to build him, and it was definitely scary training for him, but I came up with a really good strategy, and it worked. And that was one of the toughest dudes that I actually beat, and scariest dude, because he had this crazy left hand, and he was I think undefeated at the time. Actually, yeah, he was undefeated at the time. So he was like a 9-0 with like 8 knockouts or something. Just
wow,
guys
crazy
away.
Ratio.
And they're like, yeah, let's feed him this UFC veteran.
Yeah.
Feed him with like these inside body kicks, and
wow.
He became very hesitant to throw that left hand. I was ripping like an inside body kick, which I worked on the whole camp, and it was a good win. He wound up getting signed to the UFC and lost his first fight to Khabib Nurmagomedov. So
wow, that's some cool trivia right there.
Yeah. It's crazy. So,
did you feel his left? Did you get to did you feel his shot and be like, damn, this guy hits hard?
Luckily, I did not feel his left. As soon as the fight started, I knew he was going to throw it.
Yep.
So I timed it. I timed my right middle kick to his ribs, like hard, like it wasn't like a tie kick. It was more like a slap kick where my foot would hit him right in the sweet spot. So every time he threw that left, I was at a range. I would dip my head to the left because he's a southpaw, and I ripped it like a up and in type of.
Really dug in there.
Yeah, and I remember, like, if you ever watch the fight, you could hear like the slap, meat slap, like foot to. And he, after the fight, he was like, "Man, I fucked, like I felt
Jesus
that.
Christ,
Jesus Christ." Like, so, but it was a good fight. I scored a couple of takedowns. I defended his takedown. It was a little bit of wrestling involved too. So, and then I'd say the other toughest dude I fought at the time was my second stint in the UFC. I fought Renan Barão. And
tough guy, yeah.
Yeah, that was scary. I mean, I flew out to Brazil, fought him in his home country.
Wow.
The crowd was screaming, "You're gonna die."
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
So that was like one of the toughest. I would say the toughest dude, and the most decorated fighter that I ever fought. Being a former world champion. And he beat me by decision. It was a close fight. I thought he beat me strategically, scoring like a couple of takedowns. But I scored some strikes, and I knew the UFC wanted me to. I mean, they sent me out there probably to lose. Obviously, I came off a fight in the Manila, and I kind of over wrestled. So they were like, we're gonna feed Phillipe to Renan Barão for a knockout, because that's what he was good at. So they sent me out there, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to wrestle. I'm going to throw down. So I just worked a lot of my striking strategically. I really wanted to shut him down in front of his fans. And I threw some good left hooks. I landed some jabs and crazy strong left hooks. But he ate it. And it was a good back and forth fight. But he scored 2 takedowns in the fight at the end of the second and third round.
So he stole those rounds in.
Yeah, they were close rounds. He also hit me with some good shots. Good shots that rocked me, not like unconscious, but he hit me, and I was like, "Whoa!" That was like
they stung you
to my jaw.
Oof.
So,
wow,
that was a good fight. Those are the 2 toughest guys. 1 win, 1 loss.
Wow, thank you for sharing that, Phillipe. So, are you a fan of any like current guys out there now? Do you still keep up with the sport?
I do keep up with the sport, not like religiously when I was fighting, because I would really be more into studying strategy in my division, and also, just, building strategies to fight. But now that I'm not fighting, I still appreciate the sport itself. Obviously, I do watch fights. I'm a biased UFC fan, where I will obviously root for friends of mine or veterans. I love the veterans who are still at it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Who've been in, you know.
Yeah,
So
Shogun, like all the guys
like,
still doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Frankie too. Frankie
Edgar.
Oh,
Frankie, legend.
Yeah, he's the man. He's the legend, and I hate it when I see fans like talking stuff and everything about it. And
me
they
too,
do not
Phillipe.
even know. Like the newest fans do not even know.
It's sad, brother. It's
done.
So sad. Like it's insane. It's like I don't mean to cut you off, but I feel the same way. It irritates me, and it's kind of like these guys talking are either like super young, and they're probably looking at like wins and losses, and it's like guys slow down sometimes, but like it doesn't take away from their peak and like what they were, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's crazy.
I mean, you could see some new fans. I could talk to some new fans who are like pretty new, and I'm like, you know, George St. Pierre is the GOAT, and they're like, who?
Oh my God, that is. I've seen it. I've seen it. It's terrible. Like I see that now with Cowboy and Connor and guys that they're like, Cowboy sucks. He's no good. It's like, well, hold on a second. Like, hold on a second. Dude. Look at this dude's records. Oh my God. It's wild.
I mean, a true believer in the sport and someone who like really knows and been watching it for I'd say over 10 years or more would see like these veterans who did the time and are still out there and risking their reputation, careers, and you know, and doing it for their family and the paycheck, man. This is like guys who are still out there. I mean, I really appreciate, you know, and I look forward to them winning and even just having good fights, you know, and not getting hurt.
Yeah, me too.
It's heartbreaking when I see fighters get hurt that I know.
I know.
That's the sport, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. Some guys, you know, it's like tough because you can't tell. It's like you can't really tell a fighter when to stop. They're like grown men, you know what I mean? But I hear you, like when you see these legends like dropping fights, you know, like Chuck, V.I.P.N, it's heartbreaking, you know. But like you said, if you're a longtime fan, you know what these guys have done, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Phillipe, all right, so I got another question. If you could change something let's talk UFC. If you could change something in the UFC, like what would it be? Would it be like more weight classes? Would you allow 12 to 6 elbows? Like what would it be?
Oh, rules wise?
It could be anything. Weight classes or rules.
Well, I would just say higher paydays for everybody, man.
That's a good one.
That's my I'd say higher paydays. Let's bring back open sponsorship.
Oh yes, absolutely agree with that.
You know, a free market sponsorship like it was years ago. I'm a more of a fan of safety, especially with my background in healthcare. So
right.
I think that, you know, when they start changing the rules that could be more damaging to fighters, then the paydays need to be higher.
Absolutely,
I agree. If you're also going to fight longer, if you're going to be a co-main or a main, you're doing 5-minute rounds, then you should be paid more. I'm going to be, you know, my performance could go, instead of 15 minutes, now you're talking about 25 minutes. That's, you know, that's a pretty significant percentage increase of my performance. So now we're talking about increasing my payload to be, you know, like 50 to 70% more than what I'm making. Additionally, the pay scale structure of the UFC is catered to more young, hungry fighters who all believe that they're going to be the next Conor McGregor. So if your payday, imagine I'm a 9-to-5 worker too as a nurse, and my pay is based on showing up to work and performing, and I get paid. But if you're a fighter and you're getting 50% more money to win, when winning is not in my control, winning is not in control. That's a fallacy. Winning is not in control of any athlete. You can have a bad day and the judges will score it in a complete opposite direction, and you're not in control of winning. The only thing you're in control of as a fighter is performing your best, possibly, but that's it. So what it should be is bonuses should be something on the side, and it shouldn't be like a 10-10, 20-20, 100-100. Imagine if you're making $100,000 to show and $100,000 to win. That's crazy. It should be $180,000 to show and $20,000 to win if you want to make incentive money.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's very weird how it's structured. It's catered to the guy who all think they're going to win. I'm going to win. I'm going to win. Everyone knows and thinks they're going to win, but the truth is the judges are in control. The media is in control.
Yep.
The UFC itself, the country you're in. There's so many factors. Of who's going to win the matches, but it really should be based. The pay scale should be flat fee with a maybe a 20% bonus of what your money is, not 100, not 50% of what you're making, another 50%. It's too drastic of a payday. The way their scale is, but maybe it'll change. You don't see that in boxing.
No, you don't. No, you don't. And it's crazy. I mean, because like you said, you're going out there and it's a 5-round fight. I mean, that's more time, for risk of like injury, and it's like you get severely hurt. You could even die. Like, thankfully, it doesn't really happen as much in MMA, but it's insane. I 100% agree with you.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So Phillipe,
that would be the thing I change. Sure.
Yeah, me too. Another complaint that I have is like the rankings. It's kind of like I understand it's a business and they're trying to put on the biggest fights, but I mean, I see a lot of guys getting screwed over. I mean, like based on like rankings, like do they even follow them at all? So that kind of bugs me.
No, it's a separate set of rankings. So the rankings could be actually rankings based on wins and everything, and then you have like the fan rankings, and then you actually have the UFC who they want to cater to, who would be the most marketable fight to make and who would be the most marketable fighter to hold the title. So if you look at guys like Khabib, he's not the most marketable guy,
right?
And that's why he took such a long road to the championship, and now he's going to hold that belt for quite some time, I believe. And he's a great fighter and an amazing athlete, and his fighting style is not what the UFC might enjoy and the fans might enjoy, but I love it. The guy is not getting as hurt as a lot of these fighters are, like a rock'em sock'em type of striking style. He's a takedown specialist and a grinder, and he had such a long road to the title.
He did.
He had like 10 fights before he could get a title shot. And then you get guys who are really good on the mic and sell tickets.
They get popular.
They're going to be the ones. Yeah. So it's a popularity contest. The rankings are kind of out the window. Very rarely do you get a combination of utmost, like the highest skill levels with the marketability.
Yep.
Adesanya, I think, is one of those
guys.
Oh,
he's awesome.
So he has it all. He's marketable. His style is insane.
Yep.
He really is fits the UFC description, and ranking wise, the pound for pound, like, he's probably the best. So rarely do you get all that.
Yep.
So,
I'm so excited.
Him too.
for sure. I'm a big fan. I'm so excited for the Ferguson versus Khabib fight. It's like, oh man, I think it was rescheduled like 4 times. This is like the 5th time, but it's such a huge fight. This is like this era's like Fedor versus Cro Cop for me, anyway.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that one. Who would you give the edge to in that one if you feel comfortable talking about that?
I don't know, man. What would you give?
I would probably. I mean, but what do I know? But I probably would give the edge to. I like Tony in that fight only because I like Tony's stand up. He's got that 10th planet black belt. He's very crafty on the ground. He's got the wrestling.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously not as good as wrestling as Khabib, but I just think it's a good style matchup for Tony, and it's tough for Khabib. But Khabib could still do some. Who knows? That guy's a beast.
I think I would lean a little toward more Khabib. If anyone could beat Khabib, it would be Tony because of his unorthodox style. But I just think Khabib, he just is a machine. He works like in such a process, man, where the system he has of takedown system into grinding guys into submission or into just like pity pat punch them to death. And you can't get up. You cannot get up.
He totally neutralizes you.
Absolutely, and he does it very well. And I know Ferguson's style is funky, and he like rolls, and he has crazy cardio. and he's insane. So it's like this guy is fearless, but I think Khabib is gonna just grab a leg, grind him down, and just work the system he's been working, that climbing system where he just yokes you down constantly and takes you back. You might not submit him. I think Khabib will be like a 5-rounder by decision. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
I like Gaethje versus Khabib too. I think that's an interesting matchup only because of Gaethje's wrestling and his knockout power. So that one's intriguing.
Gaethje's he's a really good wrestler, but doesn't really use the wrestling too much.
I know, that's the crazy thing.
To throw.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, man, he likes to throw. You're forced to throw with him.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's like I like what he's been doing in his last fights. Like he doesn't fight as reckless now. It's like he's being a little more measured, you know? So,
yeah, he has to, man. He has to. I've seen his earlier fights, even in where the Bellator, and he's like a
boss to the wall, right?
Guy. Yeah, man, you don't have a long career like that.
No, you don't.
Or a long life like that.
Right, yeah. Yeah, he was super reckless. His leg kicks were insane too, or are insane. Phillipe, I don't want to take too much more of your time. I got a few more questions, but what do you enjoy doing on your spare time? Is there anything that the fans would be surprised by?
Oh man, I do everything, man.
That's cool. All right.
I'm enjoying life right now. I'm enjoying life, and I'm always the goal setter and trying to chip away at goals in life and everything. So I went back to school, believe it or not, for my master's degree. I recently got my nurse practitioner. Yeah. What else, man? I've been at it as far as jiu-jitsu, so I've been trying to do a lot more jiu-jitsu.
That's cool.
Like maybe sport jiu-jitsu matches and.
How about that combat jiu-jitsu? No,
I don't think I could do it, man.
Okay.
No, I don't think. I think it's like you're either in or out. Like so, if I'm gonna throw something, if I'm gonna slap someone in the face or something, it's like. I'm just going to punch him in the face.
Right.
Like,
I get it.
Yeah, I can't do like halfway. Jiu-jitsu is its own sport as far as like the style of grappling. Like submission grappling, I think has elevated as far as like its popularity. There's like a ton of killers out there and I have full access to train with them. Yeah, like all the guys at Henzo's and they're amazing athletes and I get access to Danaher, I get access.
Oh God, the leg lock game.
Yeah, so the leg game. You know, I have an appreciation for it, and I can't really do those things in an MMA fight. I mean, you can, but it's like you really got to be, you really got to be timing it perfectly. I'd rather
the leg locks, right?
Now I could open up a little more, work a little some bottom attacks, work like some more funky stuff, and just enjoy myself. If I can, if I have a match in a sub only match. Grappling, you know, I could have fun in it. I recently had a match before the new year. I went against Bill Algeo, who was a UFC Contender Series fighter who also fought in Cage Fury. I thought he was a title holder at one point, and we had like a draw. It was a good match, and he's a black belt also. So, you know,
that's awesome.
It was a good. Yeah, we had fun, man. It was 10 minutes, and. We had a good back and forth battle. No one scored a submission. But if I continue training and just enjoying myself, I think it's a possibility I maybe compete again in a sub-only match.
Yeah. So I would like to see it. That's awesome.
Yeah. I'll keep it up, man.
So anything else? Are you into like gaming at all, or fishing? Do you play basketball?
Nah. I would say right now I'm on this like cooking mode. So
really?
I've been doing I always cooked my whole life. Now I just got a smoker, believe it or not. I'm putting it together and I'm gonna start some brisket, some ribs.
Nice.
I'm into cooking Filipino food. I got this air fryer that I do a ton of different stuff with. So
lumpia.
Pretty much like
I know about some lumpia, brother.
Oh man, that is
delicious. My goodness! It's like aliens made delicious. It. It's like not of this world. You know, it's just too good to be true. Oh, man. Delicious.
Yeah, I love food. It's like
me
what
too,
I live
man.
For. But Filipino food is in my blood too. So
yeah, amazing.
Man, it's amazing. Yeah, so I definitely cook like at least two or three times a week, I do some meal prepping to take with me where I'm going, either to the gym or to work or wherever. I cook for my girl.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm like the house husband too, you know.
Yeah.
I love cooking, man. So
yeah, I hear that, man. It's therapeutic too, you know. Cooking is an art.
yeah.
It's an art that you could eat after, you know.
For sure.
Awesome.
Yeah, and you know, and information's so abundant. Like you could just look up on YouTube a good recipe, and then a little twist on it, and man, this is amazing. You know, you don't even have that ability years ago, so it's
for
good
sure.
to take advantage of it.
Yes. So I got 2 more questions for you, Phillipe. So all right,
Sure.
here goes a fitness one. In your fighting career or just in general, do you incorporate more like calisthenics, or you more into like weight training? Like, what do you do to stay in shape?
You know, recently I got into weight training with the jiu-jitsu, and I think that studies show that weight bearing exercises is the best for longevity. So I've been doing some functional weightlifting. So like, you know, just squat, nothing crazy, just squat till a light burn. I'm not trying to, you know, break my posture or anything.
Yep.
Different deadlifts, and then I mix it up with calisthenics. So but throughout my whole fight career, I really did a lot more of cardio, high intensity interval training. That was like a fight simulation. So I would do like 10-degree incline on a treadmill with a 10 mile per hour. I would jump on and off, you know, anywhere between 20 to 40 seconds, on and off. I do those like between those and burpees and mixing those up. Those would get my lungs on fire and in shape and like pretty much ready for a fight.
Yeah.
I don't really do those much anymore. I'm not trying to like blow my lungs out. And
yeah.
I
hear you, man.
And also
I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, studies show that's actually not too healthy when you're hitting competitive level training where your heart rate is reaching like that maximum level. It's actually not that healthy for you. You're producing too much lactic acid, and the lactic acid circulating in your blood on the long term could have inflammatory effects on your vessels and your heart, and it could lead to, you know, people don't know, but there were studies on Olympians, and Olympic level athletes do not live as long as the average person who just works out just enough.
Yeah, they're redlining too much, right?
Yeah, man, you gotta just, you know. So I've definitely redlined way too much in my life. You know, I don't think unless I'm like gonna turn it back up and come out of retirement, there's no need to go on the treadmill and blow my lungs out again. It's more of like a steady state, you know, of
70%, you would say?
Yeah. The studies show that I think you have to be able to have a light conversation. If you want to run, they should have like a light conversation. That's, if you could have a conversation, that's good. And maybe a couple of sprints, not sustaining like 30 minutes. I used to do also 30 minutes on the treadmill, and it would be like this increasing. I think they had that years ago on the Ultimate Fighter, where that you do 5 minutes at 5 miles per hour, 6 miles per hour, and each of these keep going up until you're going 5 minutes at 10 miles per hour. And you're just like, it's just like level 10 nonstop.
Jeez.
So, yeah, it's not too healthy to do that if you're looking for long-term health and to live a longer, healthier life. So just enough exercise. It's a bell curve. Like, you know what I mean? Like the beginning of the curve, you don't exercise at all. You're also you're gonna probably die early.
Yeah.
But if you exercise too much, like you're exercising like a maniac, you might also die early. You got to get the sweet spot.
That balance.
The sweet spot. Yeah, man.
Absolutely. Man. Damned if you do.
Yeah.
So, Phillipe, with your experience in different forms of like martial arts, the last question for the people listening, what do you think is, and this is a tough one, but what do you think is the single best martial art if you could only be proficient at one, like for like self-defense?
Oh man, if it's for self-defense, it would have to be I would say boxing.
Okay.
Professional boxing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, professional boxing, it's debatable between that or wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
I love jiu-jitsu, and it's really shaped my life, and that's what I've been really curtailing my training now. But it's not really as practical in a street self-defense situation, because you're never going to have a one-on-one type of thing, and you really don't want to grapple with someone. Yeah. I'd rather just punch him in the liver or kick him in the liver.
Get it over with quick.
Yeah. So it has to be more of a striking thing. Wrestling is always a good thing because you always could pick someone up and throw them pretty easily, but at the same time, you might not want to get your hands on them.
That's true too. Yeah, you're right.
As soon as you get your hands on them, they might just bite you.
Bite you, yep. Stab you with something.
There's so many factors in the street, man. It's and then you grab one of them and they have 5 friends.
That's true too. Yeah, you can't be trying to pull arm bars or triangles when you got 3 people around kicking you in the head. Not good.
That's definitely not good. Not good.
No.
So.
But Phillipe, I want to thank you so much for your time. I'm really appreciative of it. And that'll wrap up the interview. So once again, thank you so much. And I'll send you the link once it's edited. And that's it. That's all I got.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, and best of luck with the new year.
Thank you so much. You too, Phillipe. Take care. Okay.
Take care. You take care.